Hello and welcome to Eppendorf Lab Channel, your home for experts and knowledge live. I'm Matthew Yurkevich, a marketing manager for Eppendorf SE and your moderator today here in Hamburg, Germany. We're all very excited to have you joining us for the latest webinar on digitalization entitled Eppendorf and eLabNext, Driving Digitalization in Life Science and Biotech Research. In this webinar, our experts will guide you through the cutting-edge solutions offered by Eppendorf and eLabNext, two industry pioneers who are redefining the way research is conducted with a focus on enhancing efficiency and fostering collaboration. I'm excited to welcome our presenters from eLabNext, Ramzi Abbasi and Ethan Sagan. Ramzi is the eLabNext digitalization specialist for Australia and New Zealand and an expert in digital lab solutions and their applications in life science research. Ethan Sagan is a technical solutions manager for eLabNext Americas region, educating customers on all the capabilities that eLabNext has to offer and helping them tackle any technical challenges. Before Ramzi and Ethan get started, I would like to take a moment to direct your attention to the interactive portion of Eppendorf Lab Channel. If you look directly below the video frame, you will see a question submission form. Feel free to use the form for any comments, questions, or reactions you might have. We may not have time to get to every question, especially if they are user-specific, but we will get back to you at the email address you provide after the webinar concludes. After the presentation is completed, we will have the Q&A period. You can also message us for information about demos and more in-depth conversations. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over the reins to Ramzi and Ethan for their presentation. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Matthew. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar today, titled Driving Research and Digitalization. In this webinar, we're delving into a pressing topic as universities and research organizations worldwide gear up for the digital age. As lab digitalization experts at eLabNext, we are witnessing an increasing urgency and gain in momentum for a solution to protect research data and seamlessly integrate it with existing workflows and systems. In our session today, we'll explain how Eppendorf's adaptable and compliant digital lab platform, eLabNext, can unlock the future of your digital lab operations. I'm Ramzi Abbasi, the lab digitalization specialist at eLabNext for the Asia Pacific region. My journey began with a PhD from the University of Sydney, where I specialized in drug design and development for glioblastoma brain tumors. Along the way, I've been deeply involved in numerous laboratory change management projects in Australia, where I discovered my enthusiasm for fueling innovation and efficiency in research through digitalization. I will now give the floor to my colleague Ethan Sagan to introduce himself. Here's to you, Ethan.
Thank you, Ramzi. My name is Ethan Sagan. I'm a technical solutions manager with eLabNext. So I work primarily as a product specialist with our customers to ensure that they have a successful implementation of the solution, both on the hardware end of integrations and on the digital side. And outside of eLab, I actually did not come from a background in science. I was a classically trained singer within the New England region, and I made the transition over to the tech sector, and it's been a wonderful experience working with both eLabNext teams and the Eppendorf teams these past couple of years. So very happy to be here talking about eLabNext with Ramzi and discussing how these solutions can integrate with the Eppendorf products to really take your lab workflows to the next level.
Amazing. Thank you, Ethan. So on the agenda today, we will explore various benefits that a digital lab platform like eLabNext can bring to your research operations, with a special focus on eLabNext's main modules. That's eLab protocols for streamlining experiment procedures, eLab inventory for pioneering sample efficiency, eLab Journal as your all-in-one digital lab platform, and electronic lab notebook. We will then discuss how eLabNext customization is achievable to suit your workflows via our eLab marketplace, and then delve into how eLabNext integrates into the Eppendorf hardware ecosystem and talk about the future directions of our platform and lab digitalization in that regard. We will then conclude with the client's customer success story, and finally, the steps you need to take to ensure selecting the right digital lab platform for your organization. To set the stage for our audience, I'd like to share a comparison of the evolution of phones versus the evolution of scientific record keeping. The first cable landline was established in 1861, where we were still using physical notebooks. Physical note-taking is as old as science itself and predates phones altogether. In 1996, the first mobile phone was established, coinciding with the first report of digitizing research data in an electronic lab notebook in 1994. This was the first step in the transition between the analog world to the digital world in terms of research. And in 2007, when the first smartphone was established, simultaneously, this is where digital lab platforms started to adopt a lab operating system structure and therefore served as the first step to digitalization of research operations. Digital lab platforms, in essence, are a central hub for all your research data, equipment, samples, protocols, and more. I'd like to now distinguish between lab digitization and lab digitalization. Lab digitization involves converting analog information into a digital format. It typically employs single-purpose siloed software or applications such as electronic lab notebooks, lab inventory management systems, protocol management tools, equipment bookings, and specialized data analysis tools like GraphPad, Prism, or FlowJo. On the other hand, lab digitalization is about leveraging that digital data to transform research operations, products, and services. It involves the use of a unified digital lab platform that combines all these modules, but can also adapt to changing research demands. So while it includes electronic lab notebooks, lab inventory management, and so forth, it's designed for a more integrated, adaptable, and flexible approach to research management. A practical example of this is the transition from manual to digital sample management and tracking. So that's an example of digitization if we use barcoded tubes, for examples. Similarly, transitioning from manual to digital storage unit monitoring for temperature and humidity is another form of digitization. However, a digital lab platform enables leveraging the digital information of samples and equipment so that they are associated with experimental data, and it offers a streamlined and interoperable approach to sample management. This is an example of digitalization. So why is digitalization a necessary step for your lab? Let's take a closer look at a typical state of a research laboratory. In this current setup, labs often operate with multiple disconnected systems and processes, which can impact the efficiency and the effectiveness of research. First, in the data collection aspect, researchers rely on traditional methods such as paper lab notebooks, internal servers for data storage, and data generated by lab instruments such as Western blotting images. This is where research data initially takes shape. Moving to data analysis, researchers utilize a mix of research and productivity tools, including Microsoft Office, GraphPad Prism, and automated analyzers like flow cytometers. This phase is dedicated to analyzing and deriving insights from that collected data. In the inventory aspect, we find varying Excel spreadsheets, paper inventories affixed to storage units, a lack of operational oversight, and no audit trails. The inventory aspect is dedicated to the management and tracking of research material and equipment. And this current setup could be a huge risk for sample integrity and therefore research quality. Lastly, in the work safety and compliance aspect, labs often use paper-based standard operating procedures, maintain siloed systems, they lack secure signature workflows and version controlling, and face potential data security risks. Compliance with research integrity and safety regulations is a crucial concern in this current state of research laboratories. And all these facets collectively influence the state of our scientific publications, underscoring the importance of a more integrated and efficient approach. If you ever had to audit data for publications in this current state, then you would be privy to how hard, nearly impossible, it can be to locate all the research data and materials associated with the publication, particularly if the researcher who conducted those experiments has left your organization. So our ultimate goal in lab digitalization is to create a seamless, adaptable, and compliant research experience. In a digital lab platform, researchers can effortlessly collect and store the research data within the DLP. This includes data generated through experiments, instrument readings, and various other sources. Next, researchers can analyze this data using the platform's built-in tools and features. This step allows for in-depth data examination and insight generation from within the platform. Moving forward, researchers can collaborate with colleagues, sharing data as needed and insights easily within the digital lab platform. And this promotes teamwork and knowledge exchange in an access-controlled environment. Additionally, researchers can efficiently track their research data and samples, ensuring transparency and traceability, a critical aspect for safety, compliance, and research integrity. Think of how easy it becomes to track genetically modified materials, cytotoxic agents, chemical hazard load, experiment status, experiment progress, equipment monitoring and maintenance, etc. DLPs therefore offer a single cycle process that researchers can seamlessly navigate. But what makes a DLP even more valuable is its capacity for customization. Researchers can tailor the platform to their specific needs using APIs and SDKs, ensuring it aligns perfectly with the research objectives. We will discuss the customization through API and SDKs a bit later. This single streamlined cycle encapsulates the power of lab digitalization within a digital lab platform, providing researchers with this integrated and efficient approach to their work and their publications. In modern research, digitalization also stands out as the only sustainable strategy for your organization. Let's delve into the key business benefits as to why that is. First is security. Your intellectual property and research data receive the highest protection within a compliant digital environment, ensuring the confidentiality and integrity of your data. Next is compliance. So digital lab platforms will enhance research quality, efficiency, safety, and transparency, aligning your organization with regulatory requirements. And then we have efficiency. So by streamlining and templatizing your operations, your researchers will reduce errors and increase outputs. Cost savings. Because you gain operational oversights across various aspects of your lab, including storage, hazard load, freezer health and capacity, this newfound visibility translates into reduced costs and minimized wastage in the long run. Future-proofing and sustainability. By embracing a flexible and a scalable data management strategy that guarantees adaptability to your changing needs, your organization will remain agile and well prepared for future challenges. Lastly is investor interest. Digitization, digitalization, automation, and the transparency that results from them are highly attractive to R&D investors. Demonstrating these capabilities can pique investor interest and support your organization's growth. Incorporating these benefits into your strategy positions your organization for sustainable success and growth in an increasingly digitalized world. In addition to streamlining research workflows and having a positive, long-lasting impact on user experience and business operations, lab digitalization enhances the so-called FAIR data principles. FAIR, which stands for Findable, Accessible, Interoperable, and Reusable, originated in a seminal 2016 article published in Scientific Data. It was introduced by a consortium of esteemed researchers and organizations to provide a robust framework for improving the usability and accessibility of research data. So let's delve deeper into the world of FAIR principles and how they shape a harmonious society for your research data. Picture this as navigating through a well-structured city where every street and building serves a purpose And these principles act as the city's architectural guidelines, making your data's journey smoother and more purposeful. So F in FAIR is findable, meaning that your data and metadata should have a unique identifier and are indexed for searchability. Think of this as street addresses in this digital city. Each data point has a unique address, making it easily discoverable, much like finding a notable landmark in our cityscape. A stands for accessibility, meaning your data and metadata should be deposited in a trusted repository accessible to both machines and humans. Accessibility mirrors the well-constructed roads, bridges, and public transportation networks in a modern city. Just as a well-designed city guarantees easy access for all modes of travel, FAIR principles make your data accessible to both humans and machines. They pave reliable pathways for every user to traverse. I is interoperable, meaning that your data and metadata should operate in a broadly applicable language to allow for data integration. Picture a city's road rules, traffic signs, and signals forming a universal language that ensures not only efficient, but also safe travel for all vehicles. Similarly, metadata uses a shared language, fostering seamless interaction between various data sources. R is reusable, meaning that your data should have a clear usage license and provenance to enable it to be repurposed by humans and machines. This is akin to well-documented guidebooks and maps in our city offering clear, comprehensive directions for reuse. GPS navigators in this example are machines that can read and interpret that data to give you the most efficient routes to your destination. And in terms of research data, this could be similar to AI tools and machine learning tools that will allow you to streamline your data reusability. So FAIR principles construct a harmonious society for your data, ensuring it resides at unique addresses, welcomes all, speaks a common language, and provides a well-documented guide for reuse. Throughout the rest of the webinar, we'll explore how digital lab platforms facilitate this harmonious journey in a FAIR research city. When considering a digital lab platform, there are key features you need to look for to make sure you have enhanced accessibility and compliance and ensure that your data remains as secure as possible. Business continuity of a digital lab platform vendor is integral. By being a part of Eppendorf, eLabNext is set up for success as it expands its clientele and has robust business continuity plans and disaster recovery contingencies in place. ISO 27001 accreditation is another one to look out for. This is the highest international standard for data management of cloud-based servers. DLP vendors, along with their data centers that they use, should be ISO compliant. Another key feature is the FDA 21 CFR Part 11 compliance. This guideline from the FDA ensures that your digital lab platform meets the highest standards for electronic record keeping and signatures, audit-ready traceability, and trusted record retention. Then another feature to look out for is the General Data Protection Regulation. This is particularly important for the European Union countries. So GDPR ensures that your data is protected and accessible only to authorized entities. And then next is GXP compliance. So while an electronic system cannot be GXP compliant itself, it can definitely have a plethora of features to enhance your ability to achieve and maintain GXP compliance and even other ISO compliances that your lab needs to adhere to. If you're dealing with patient samples, you might look out for features such as Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA for short. Compliance with this act guarantees the safe handling of sensitive patient data, ensuring the privacy of medical records during transit. These features within your DLPs create a secure and accessible environment for your data, much like our well-structured city ensures easy access for all travelers. eLabNext is trusted by organizations and academic institutions around the globe, with over 500 organizations in 40 countries worldwide. Here are some of our eLab family members, including Harvard Medical School, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the National Institutes of Health and Institute Pasteur. At eLabNext, we provide 3 main modules to empower your laboratory. eLab Protocols is a way for you to streamline your lab operation, standard operating procedures, manage them for enhanced efficiency and compliance. This module is available free of charge. With eLab Inventory, you are able to simplify your lab environment, your lab inventory management, and this will range from your storage units to your equipment, to your consumables, to your samples. And then we have the all-inclusive electronic lab notebook, eLab Journal. This electronic lab notebook, or ELN for short, will transform record keeping and analysis. And it's actually inclusive of the other 2 modules. So if you get eLab Journal, it will include eLab Inventory and eLab Protocols in it. We also have a marketplace available in both the eLab Journal and Inventory modules, offering additional tools and integrations to meet your specific lab needs. Together, all our products constitute eLabNext, our digital lab platform. First, let's look at eLab Protocols. This module allows you to standardize and share procedures or SOPs within your organization. The module incorporates built-in calculators, much like mathematical functions in a script, streamlining workflows, minimizing errors, and increasing compliance. Moreover, signature approvals and version controls ensure that you and your team always work with the latest, most accurate research blueprints. By seamlessly integrating SOPs into your digital lab platform, you will ensure efficient data access while facilitating data reusability, further enriching both the findable and reusable aspects of fair data principles. Next, we have eLab Inventory, which allows for complete storage unit mapping within your organization. The system is designed to accommodate all types of research storage units, such as ULT freezers, flammable cabinets, mass gauge racks, what have you. And then within each storage unit, you will be able to create however many storage layers required to mirror your physical inventory. So that could be shelves, racks on a shelf, it could be sample box within a rack, within a shelf, and you can have samples at any of these layers to give you the flexibility that you would need in real life. As for the samples, you have full control over creating the standard sample types or forms relating to the different samples. So this will allow you to control the metadata you collect for each type of sample. The metadata you would need for an ethanol bottle would be different to that associated with a mouse specimen, for example. And here we see an example of a mapped storage unit within a lab in eLab Inventory. You can seamlessly navigate through the created storage units and their compartments and view the current storage capacities. When you go into a compartment such as a sample box, you will see the samples represented visually with a key detailing the color coding of your custom sample types. For each sample, you can view the collected metadata, see the experiments associated with, and get a complete end-to-end audit trail for each sample. You can carry out functions such as bulk editing of samples, drag and drop of samples to move them around, and even keep track of inventory stocks with a customizable product catalog. As mentioned, eLab Inventory allows you to completely customize the sample types within your laboratory and the metadata you collect about each of them. The metadata could include things like text boxes, numbers, number fields, drop-downs, drop-down menus, checkboxes, file attachments, links to other samples, and much more. You can even set some fields as mandatory and implement input validation to ensure the quality of the data being collected. This standardization not only fosters findability, but also promotes data reusability, as the same templates are being used to collect the required information each time. eLab Inventory also allows you to create sample-to-sample or sample-to-experiment links, providing a clear lineage of relationships. Within our sample lineage feature, you can visually display such lineages. So eLab Inventory even distinguishes between experiments in which a sample was used versus experiments in which a sample was generated, creating a comprehensive network of data connections. These features further solidify our commitment to regulatory compliance and bolster the foundation of data findability within our well-organized research city. Now let's look at eLab Journal, which is more than just an electronic lab notebook. Each research group within your organization will have its unique operating environment where group members may create projects, studies, and experiments in that hierarchy. This well-structured setup ensures consistency and within your data, and prevents the creation of multiple storage layers, also known as folder creeping. At each of these levels, project, studies, and experiments, you are able to control which group member or members have access to your research data with clearly defined permissions as to what each user can and cannot do. You can associate custom fields at the project and study levels to capture ethic approvals, grant codes, collaboration agreements, material transfer agreements, and so on. Moreover, members of two or more distinct research groups can come together to create their own set of project studies and experiments for cross-group collaborations. When building experiments or experiment templates in eLabNext, users have the ability to update project status, add due dates. They could also add or remove collaborators if they have the permissions to do so. They can choose from a wide range of sections to build their templates or their experiments, such as text boxes, protocols, images, samples, file attachments, embedded Microsoft Office files, and more. You can also build your own custom experiment sections using our marketplace, which Ethan will discuss with you shortly. Another vital feature that significantly enhances your research experience within eLab Journal is our Microsoft Office Online Server add-on. With this integration, you gain effortless access to Microsoft Excel, Word, and PowerPoint directly within your browser without installing these applications locally. It's a streamlined way to view, create, and update files within the platform, and changes are automatically saved. Again, every version of the file will be found in the audit trail. Another key feature we have, and this happens to be one of my personal favorites, eLab Web Edit. This remarkable patented tool by eLabNext simplifies editing attached third-party files within your experiments in eLab Journal. eLab Web Edit bypasses the browser security measures, enabling you to interface seamlessly with your installed desktop applications, such as GraphPad Prism, Snapgene, Jupyter, ChemDraw, and so on. There will be no more tedious downloading, renaming, and re-uploading of new versions of files. Edit files directly within eLab Journal, and while still maintaining data integrity and GLP compliance, good lab practice compliance. As we can see in this example, we are able to open a GraphPad Prism file without downloading it. eLab Web Edit opens GraphPad for you, where you can make your edits directly, and then you can save the file. This works with really any sort of third-party application. And once you've saved the file, a new version will be automatically created and saved on top of the older one. And you will be able to view all these versions within the platform, download them, and even view their certificates of authenticity. eLab Journal also features chemistry-focused add-ons for experiment sections to elevate your lab capabilities. For example, the Marvin JS add-on is a chemical editor from ChemAxon. This is integrated into eLabNext, and it simplifies drawing chemical structures and visualizing reactions. Changes are automatically saved, ensuring GLP compliance again. We also have ChemAssist, which is in beta phase, ChemAssist expands your lab's digital capabilities. It also offers features like chemical registry, structural drawing, complex reactions, and fingerprinting and smart searching capabilities. It's designed to enhance your lab's chemistry workflows and capabilities. We also have another add-on designed to support molecular biology research and process development labs. So again, like ChemAssist, CloneAssist, these are also sections that can be added into your experiment. So you can have, like, for example, with this tool, it will assist molecular biologists by offering features to visualize and construct DNA and plasmid molecules along with various molecular cloning techniques. It's a valuable asset for molecular biology, providing sequence analysis, annotation, tracking, and reporting, all within your experiment. A great digital lab platform provides a convenient hub for you to explore and integrate various add-ons, such as the ones that I just showcased, to enhance your research journey. With eLab Marketplace, you can browse, choose, and autonomously install these add-ons based on your lab's specific needs. It's all about creating a tailored experience and ensuring that you have the right tools at your disposal. These integrations can range from productivity tools like Microsoft Online, cloud storage services like Dropbox or Google Drive, or to extend further functionality of the core product itself. This marketplace is designed to empower you with the flexibility to enrich your research experience, making it just as diverse and dynamic as the app stores you find in your smartphones today. At eLabNext, we foster an open ecosystem, empowering our users to extend and integrate and personalize any aspect of the software, and here's how. eLab API is your bridging tool between eLabNext and other systems. So API, or Application Programming Interface for short, it serves as an intermediary, allowing you to retrieve data from eLabNext and seamlessly sync and process it in third-party applications, and vice versa. This allows for the creation of sophisticated data analytics tools and streamlining automation. Next, we have eLab SDK. This is your customization toolkit within the platform. So imagine the SDK, or the software development kit, as a set of versatile tools that enable you to tailor your digital lab platform to match your unique needs. So with the SDK, you can craft custom add-ons to add new features, new buttons, create innovative shortcuts, and more. In this way, you have the freedom to adapt and extend eLabNext functionality to align perfectly with your lab's processes. And now I will hand the floor over to Ethan to take you through specific use cases of how we were able to use eLab Marketplace to leverage our integration within the Eppendorf ecosystem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ramsey, for sharing that overview of the eLabNext platform and its core capabilities. So we're now going to take a few minutes to just demonstrate the potential for this open ecosystem that Ramsey introduced in the last slide. And we're going to do this by looking at several of the integrations that we created in collaboration with our partners at Eppendorf. So we'll take a quick trip through the sample's life cycle. We'll look at how all these products work together to support the sample's journey through the lab. And this journey is embodied in something that we like to call the Sample 360 concept. It's a comprehensive future-proof sample strategy that we've developed with Eppendorf, and it really serves to reframe lab activities around how they support the sample's progression through the lab. So it's very much centered around the workflow rather than thinking about how this individual product standing alone is going to make that difference. So Sample 360 is built upon 4 key tenets that safeguard both the sample's physical and its digital integrity throughout the course of its lifetime. So when we're thinking about our samples, we need to make sure that they are secure, because this builds confidence in both the physical and digital integrity so that scientists can reliably access them at any time, no matter where they are within the workflow within the lab. We also need to think about storing our samples in a reliable and, just as important, an organized container that's going to maintain their condition in the long run. Monitoring is a really big part of this as well. So you want to make sure that your environmental conditions, whether it's the temperature of your storage unit, the humidity, or even whether the equipment that you're using has been validated in a timely fashion. And you want to really track these because that's going to safeguard the sample's condition in the long run. And finally, we want to institute tracking on all of these samples because we want to, at any point, have reliable access to that sample's data across the entire digital lab space. So that if you're looking back at this historical data, maybe if you're pulling the data for auditing purposes, it is always right there, accessible, and consistently formatted. And that's really where we see our role at eLabNext sort of coming into the picture, bringing everything together both visually and physically. So as you can see, eLab and Eppendorf have you covered for all of your physical and digital sample needs, whether it's for smart consumables and UT freezers for securing your storage, and storing your samples in platforms like VisionEyes and eLabNext for tracking and monitoring your samples' digital health. And all of these products together provide great entry points on their own into the Sample 360 strategy. So no matter what your favorite freezer, scanner, or software solution is, you can start implementing a future-proof sample strategy today and really create a digitally healthy lab environment for years to come. And the best part about this is that you don't have to do it alone. So our team at eLabNext of digital lab specialists all have a background in lab research, and they're on hand to consult your team on how to best develop your digital practices as you progress through this digitization journey. So when we talk about securing our samples, how do we ensure that our sample remains safe and visible no matter where it goes in the lab? And this isn't just about physical security, because if we can't identify a sample because its label is degraded, then we've lost our link to its data, which at best means that the physical sample is maybe no longer usable because we don't know what it is anymore. And at worst, that can interrupt a workflow and really set back research that's been going on for weeks or months at a time. So Eppendorf's safe code tubes are a great alternative to your standard sample vials. In addition to that high caliber Eppendorf engineering that you expect out of their products, they've implemented this 3-code system that makes these a really digitally friendly solution. And what I mean by that is every single one of these vials has been ID'd with a unique identifier. And it's not only the value is not only human readable, but it's also been translated into digitally readable barcodes, a 1D barcode and a 2D barcode. So this right up front is going to save you a lot of time and effort manually labeling these files. It's also going to ensure that all of these files are have been labeled consistently, so that as they go into your digital system, you've sort of set up this standardized way of identifying them. And the labels themselves have been environmentally hardened, so they are resistant to extreme environmental conditions that you might find in a freezer or liquid nitrogen tank, which is really important just to make sure that that label stays on for years at a time and does not degrade within those machines. So because these vials automatically have those 1D and 2D barcodes assigned to them, they are machine readable with a barcode scanner, which makes it really easy to associate them with digital systems like eLabNext. And as an added bonus, they are feature kind of an automation-friendly design, which really makes them easily compatible with automated lab spaces and devices, whether or not you're currently using those, or if you're thinking about implementing them at some point in the future within your lab space. So thanks to eLabNext external barcoding feature, it takes just a couple of clicks to take a pre-labeled safe code ID and assign that ID to your digital records in eLab inventory. And as an added bonus, the Eppendorf Safe Code consumable add-on in eLabNext Marketplace recognizes when a safe code ID is assigned to a sample. And it actually displays that vial's product information on the sample page to support auditing requirements, including the specific vial, product, and its unique lot number. So now we've secured our sample both physically and digitally in that safe code vial, and we've stored it within our freezer. And for many labs, this may be the end of the story as far as the sample's concerned, especially if that sample's being preserved in a biobank or for archival purposes. But how do we account for unexpected changes in that environment? So one of my colleagues brought up a story recently that was circulating in the news about a lab technician who was hearing this mysterious beeping sound coming from a freezer, and it was really getting on their nerves. So they finally unplugged the freezer to stop the sound so they could get some work done in peace. And of course, you can probably imagine what happened to all the samples that were in that freezer that they unplugged. So we need to be monitoring our lab conditions to ensure that our samples are being properly stored and that our equipment is consistently validated because we don't want to lose the integrity of those samples. Platforms like Eppendorf's Visionize product suite are instrumental for collecting these environmental data points and setting up alerts for your team so that they know when there are anomalies in those environmental conditions before they can begin affecting your assets. And eLabNext can really take these environmental insights one step further by directly associating them with your sample records. So customers using standalone Visionize Sense devices can connect their sensors to storage units in eLab inventory. And they can display the real-time storage temperature in their inventory display. Or to take it one step further, they can view the most recent statistics from the last 24 hours on these environmental conditions. So they don't necessarily have to step away from the work that they're doing in eLabNext in order to check in on these data points and just make sure that everything looks like it's in the green. If there's an issue, they'll be able to see right away that something's off within eLabNext, and then they can jump over into their Visionize system to follow up and rectify the issue. So over time, your sample base will likely continue to grow, and it needs to be organized and tracked as efficiently as possible. It's really imperative that samples be accessible as quickly as possible. And this is not just because of the time that's spent searching your freezer, costing your team, hours, or even just those extra minutes when they could be doing research. But there's also a financial factor to this. Every minute that the door is open, that is energy that is being used that you have to pay for. And think of this on sort of a macro scale of all those freezers across labs across the world. If you keep them open 5 minutes longer than they need to be, there's also a sustainability impact on the environment to that. So we've already taken a step in the right direction within the Eppendorf Sample 360 scheme by storing our samples in a labeled safe code file and associating the ID to a digital sample record in eLab. Because since all of the safe code vials arrive in barcoded latch racks as well, these racks can also be tracked in eLabNext. And so it becomes even easier to take a look within the eLabNext interface and narrow down the exact location that you need to go to within a freezer to pull those samples. For high throughput labs, though, that are working with thousands of samples at a time, manually tracking and updating the positions of each individual sample and their records is a task that can really balloon very quickly. This is where devices like Eppendorf's rack scan can come into play, really help to bridge that digital physical divide between the actual samples and their records in eLabNext. And this is because they can automatically track and update the positional data for an entire rack. So you don't have to go in and take a look at each of those individual samples. You can just put your rack on the rack scan, and within a couple of seconds, you know exactly where every single one of those 48 or 96 samples are positioned within the rack. So with a little help from eLabNext's RackScan add-on, eLab inventory users can actually push that updated positional data directly into the database to update the positions of their existing sample records. They can also check them out if the samples are currently in use within the lab, or they can even discard samples and store them their data in the sample archive using the RackScan. And by the way, it is not a problem if those samples have not been digitized yet. eLabNext can even import new samples into its system that have not been digitized based on that scan from the rack scan, and automatically associate the barcodes and that positional data with those newly imported samples. So Eppendorf RackScan really serves as kind of a great case study for how Sample 360 brings all of these specialized products together to create this physical to digital pipeline within the lab. The Eppendorf RackScan device itself is wonderful, but it doesn't really exist solely on its own. You need those safe code vials that you're scanning. You need that digital solution where those samples are going to go over in eLabNext or another database in order for the full potential of the RackScan to be realized. By promoting this type of connectivity within your lab's ecosystem, your sample integrity and its data will not only be preserved for the duration of its lifespan, but you'll be able to more efficiently and reliably derive new insights to your research, thanks to this cycle of taking these physical samples, drawing out digital insights, and kind of rinsing and repeating through that cycle as you continue to use and analyze those samples through your research. So with that, I'm going to hand the reins back over to Ramsey.
Thank you, Ethan, for this comprehensive overview of our integration with the Eppendorf ecosystem. We take pride in the quality of Eppendorf and eLabNext products and the value they bring to research organizations around the world. However, Eppendorf and eLabNext go beyond offering just great products, as Ethan mentioned, but instead we offer a unique, holistic, and integrated solution to our researchers. Whether you use inbuilt label printing features to label your samples, or whether you use pre-labeled safeco tubes and the Eppendorf rack scan, you're able to capture all that data into eLab inventory. And then with the Visionize integration, eLab inventory is able to sync equipment monitoring data with sample storage and sample integrity over time. And then these eLab inventory samples can be seamlessly associated with your experiments in eLab Journal, Similarly, you can link version-controlled and signature-approved procedures from eLab protocols within experiments in eLab Journal. And finally, you can also associate equipment, their specs, their service dates, and their booking details with your eLab Journal data. This integrated approach to research data management is what makes eLab Journal the leading digital lab platform and not simply another electronic lab notebook. Now, I'd like to share a customer success story of Drop BioHealth, a pioneering force in at-home health management. Drop BioHealth's mission from day one has been to empower individuals with greater control over their health and well-being by creating an easily accessible at-home experience that would redefine how people manage their health. Drop BioHealth's mission takes shape through their at-home well-being blood test, which offers clients a finger prick blood sample test in the comfort of their own homes. Behind the scenes, dedicated lab technicians receive the blood samples and carefully process them, ensuring the utmost accuracy and reliability in their results. Simultaneously, Drop BioHealth continues to assess its clients' well-being with comprehensive lifestyle surveys and provides online coaching and guidance on well-being that goes far beyond just blood tests. The pivotal moment arrives as clients access the results through an intuitive online portal or a user-friendly phone app, which leverage eLabNext's API toolkit. This well-being test categorizes 25 blood biomarker results into 6 key health areas: energy, sleep, stress, inflammation, fitness, and body fat composition. As clients delve into the results, they find them overlaid with insightful lifestyle assessments and personalized recommendations, offering a comprehensive understanding of their health and actionable steps for improvement. By seamlessly integrating eLabNext APIs, Drop BioHealth has been able to provide users with comprehensive actionable insights. And then repeated testing and coaching enables clients to navigate their health journey independently, proactively, and with an understanding of their underlying health over time. Behind these transformative services, there's a crucial digital lab partner. eLabNext, with its core features and API-based integrations, enables Drop BioHealth to not only deliver a sophisticated service to their customers, but also maintain adherence to ISO 17025 certification standards, offering excellence and the highest levels of testing and calibration within their laboratories. This partnership showcases Drop BioHealth's dedication to data quality, security, and user empowerment at the core of their mission, as they strive to accelerate the world's transition to personalized preventative health through lab digitalization. I hope we have given you some insight on how important it is for you to start your lab digitalization journey and enhancing your lab's efficiency and safety. I'd like to share with you one of our articles which showcases how biotech innovators are benefiting from connected software, that is digital lab platforms. The main message in this article is that fairer data is faster output. Fair data principles are crucial for accelerating your research output and innovations because, one, data silos hinder collaborations, whereas data connectivity is essential for modern labs. Two, APIs are key for seamless data interactions and efficient research across all your systems. And three, that digital lab platforms offer a holistic approach to lab operations and will therefore help you achieve fairer is faster. We invite you to explore eLabNext for a digital lab platform that aligns with fair data principles, promotes collaboration, and offers customization. Now, as you assess your digital lab platform options, consider these crucial steps to make an informed decision. So how do you start looking for the right digital lab platform? Step number one is identify your key users. These are the primary users who will interact with the digital lab platform or are involved in data governance and research administration within your facilities. This doesn't just include research end users, it includes managers, IT personnel, your finance teams, your legal teams, and your risk teams. They're all important players when implementing such a system. Then begin by understanding your lab's unique requirements and challenges by consulting your key users to determine the specific needs that your lab aims to address. Then seek lab digitalization experts. Collaborate with these experts who specialize in lab digitalization to guide you. Ask them questions that align with your goals and your expectations. Then schedule a discovery call with these experts to discuss your needs and ensure that their system is the right fit for you. All our lab digitalization specialists come from life science and research backgrounds and are well equipped to partner with you on your journey. Take advantage of personalized demos. eLabNext offers no obligation personalized demos, as most vendors do, and then utilize free trials. Most digital lab platforms will offer 30-day free trials. Make sure you utilize these trials to ensure a good fit. The take-home message here is that choosing the right DLP is a critical decision, a huge undertaking, and these steps will help you make an informed and hopefully the right choice for your lab. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time and attention. If you have any further questions or would like to explore our digital lab solutions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. We look forward to assisting you in your lab's journey towards greater efficiency and collaboration. Have a great day.
Wow, that was a lot of information in a comprehensive presentation. Thank you so much. Now, looking at the screen, I can see we already have some questions for both of you. If you would like to add your own question to the Q&A, please use the form below the video window to submit one. And if we don't have time to get to every question now, we will get back to you via the email address you provide. The first question we have is going to be for Ramsey, I think. It says, RIT has strict rules about new software and data security. How do you think you could address those concerns?
We get this question pretty much from every client that we have. eLabNext can have multiple hosting solutions, or can be shared as part of a shared EU cloud or US-based cloud. These shared clouds are ideal for smaller installations that don't want to cop all the costs associated with the implementation of a new cloud server. But sort of meet every need. Other hosting solutions include a private cloud in a country of your choosing, an on-premises installation on one of your internal servers, or a hybrid solution of both a private cloud and an on-premises installation. We do custom security testing, and as we said during the webinar, we are ISO 27001 accredited. So both us as a company, our internal processes and procedures, and then our AWS servers on which we put our data on.
Okay, thank you for answering that one. The next one, I think this one's in your ballpark, Ethan. You showed us several possibilities for how both physical and digital products can be integrated with eLabNext using Eppendorf's products. Could you share in a bit more detail how the development tools that Ramsey introduced can be used to create the types of add-ons found in eLabNext marketplace?
Sure. So I like to think of the API and the SDK as kind of two sides of the same coin. So we have the API, which allows users to exchange data between eLabNext and external platforms or devices. And you can kind of think of this as an intermediary for connecting eLabNext with the broader Internet of Things. So there are many platforms that can accept API calls natively to pull data into their platform. This would include Excel or analytics platforms like Power BI. But the API can also be used to perform actions within the eLabNext platform. So for example, we have customers who will write scripts outside of eLabNext, and when they run them, it will automatically create or update samples or experiments or equipment or other objects within their eLabNext group. So we have this very powerful API that allows users to communicate with virtually any device or platform. but we still need a way within the user interface of eLabNext to incorporate these processes directly, because the everyday scientist and technician may have limited programming experience. So they still need a way that they can directly engage with these tools. It's going to be a little more streamlined, a little more intuitive. And that's where the SDK really comes in, because the SDK allows developers to customize, to integrate, or to even just extend almost any functionality within the eLabNext platform by creating these custom add-ons that are available in your marketplace. So whether you want to add a new button, or maybe a new type of experiment section, or maybe a standalone dashboard, the SDK lets you tailor the application interface to meet the exact demands of your team's laboratory processes. And I like to talk about Visionize as a great example of sort of how the API and the SDK tools can work together to achieve this goal. So when we built Visionize, the Visionize add-on in collaboration with the Visionize team, the goal was to give users visibility into a single sensor's current environmental readings. So the developer's first task was to find the data that users needed over in the Visionize web portal and to pull that information into eLabNext with the API. Then, once they had retrieved that data, the developers needed to decide how they wanted to visualize it for the end users working within the eLabNext platform. And that's where the SDK came into play to present that data in a way that was intuitive and appealing and really beneficial for the scientists that were viewing it. So I guess all of this is to say we have these two tool sets that really work well in tandem. We have the API on the application's back end. We have the SDK on the front end used to build that add-on that extends the functionality of the core system. And we at eLabNext kind of see our role as facilitators, in the sense that we are responsible for providing end users and developers with the tools to create the integrations they need. And then together through that partnership, we're able to promote this idea of the open ecosystem that was mentioned during the presentation, where anybody can take those tools and really contribute to extending the platform's functionality.
Wow, that really does sound like a complete development solution. Thank you. A third question, this one's going to be for Ramsey. How would our developers build custom add-ons in the marketplace? What support is provided to them?
So initial eLab API and SDK training is provided to developers from our clients' accounts at no cost. And this is followed by service support as required. We do have a dedicated website, developer.elabnext.com, where your developers can find guidelines and instructions on using both our APIs and SDKs. And on a case-by-case basis, we can offer custom add-ons for an additional fee depending on your project's complexity and resourcing capabilities.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Ramsey. Well, I think that covers the amount of time we have for today. If we didn't get to your question, don't worry, we'll get back to you via the email you provided. And with that, I'd like to thank you so much, Ramsey and Ethan, for your presentation. It was great to learn so much about digitalization and the sample journey in the modern lab. It was great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Matt. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.
To learn more about eLabNext and the Eppendorf digitalization future, visit eLabNext.com. You can use the links on the page below or the contact form to get in touch for a demo. Find out how to elevate your research with digital lab solutions to improve the quality of your life science study, optimize your workflow, and increase productivity. Register now for your free 30-day free trial at eLabNext.com. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next broadcast on December 21st, entitled Optimize Your Bioprocess from Shake Flask to Bioreactor. We will learn about the typical applications of shakers and bioreactors in an upscaling bioprocess, highlight applicational differences and factors that influence cultivation and system transition, and introduce you to the basic components of a bioreactor and the various process parameters that can be controlled. You can go to eppendorf.com/lab channel to save the date in your calendar. If you missed out on this session or any of our previous sessions, you can view all our previous episodes on demand at eppendorf.com/lab channel. Watch all of them on your own time and use the links to contact the experts with any questions, comments, or reactions. On behalf of Ramsey, Ethan, and everyone else here at Eppendorf Lab Channel, thank you for taking the time to join us. And until we see you again, stay safe and have a wonderful day.